All right, so what we've been doing is we took our FAQs and we've pulled them together into like type topics. And so what I want to do now is quickly go over the questions that we've pulled together, make sure that some of the stuff I did last night still makes sense, and see what kind of a silo we want to put each one of these topics in. Now it could be, I think I grouped all of the solar panel, what was the word that I was using? The advantages of solar panels together in one silo. And some of them might be strong enough that, you know, an advantage is also, it's the solution to a pain, right? So what we wanted to put actually as our silo topics are pains and products. So in the reversing of the advantages into pains, we might say, hey, that pain is important enough, it needs to be an actual silo topic, and declump it from everything else. So go ahead, like let's just talk about these for a moment. Let's start with the FAQ sides.
Okay, so we talked about hydro bills and the fact that people have perhaps a misconception that their hydro geothermal bills are going to be going up if they were to purchase a geothermal unit.
Right.
The next component of that was they wanted a sense of reassurance that it was going to be easy for them to finance the geothermal system, whether it was through a government entity or a financial institution like a bank.
Right.
Right. And a little bit of understanding what the process that they would have to go through in that stage. The next section obviously would be this dials in on what in the specific Ontario, what they call the FIT program is about. What is the liaison of how the Clev Energy will help them to bridge, like basically the application process of FIT between Ontario Hydro and the homeowner, and will that be a sticking point in the process? So that's sort of what this FAQ is addressing. The next one there is obviously they want to understand what the return will be, or how long that period of time it will take for them to recoup the investment that they're going to make in that solar panel. And then it's more specific to geothermal in the question in the next phase where the same question is being applied about what the typical payback period will be for geothermal installation.
Geothermal, so why did we get geothermal into... So geothermal doesn't actually belong with silos, or with that
particular
solar
one, so we obviously have to segment that out into geothermal.
Could you just blank out that A? Thanks. So, so what do you think about these other four questions? Do they kind of go together? Is there something there that you think should be pulled out? Is there a common theme there? Is there a common problem there that we can address as a menu item?
There's three particular themes that are coming out of this. Is will my bills go up or down if I install a geothermal solution? How can I finance the solution? And what's the payback on that solution? That's what's coming out of that for me.
Payback. So what's your thinking there? Does all of that sum up into a silo landing page? Or are those distinct ideas that are poignant enough that we want to have a different menu option for each one of those problems?
I consider them secondary pain points.
Secondary pain points, okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Then we'll leave them grouped for right now, although I don't know what silo topic we'll really have for them. Let's take a look at C. Best renewable energy solution for my farm.
So here, most of these solutions are informational gathering
Okay.
solutions. So general geothermal information that they're trying to collect to make an informed decision about what solutions are out there for them. So C was what is the best renewable energy solution for my farm buildings? Geothermal or solar thermal or solar panels for electricity.
Right.
Do solar, and that question can also be put in a different way. Could there be a hybrid solution to address my energy needs for my farm?
Okay.
Right? Whether it be geothermal or solar thermal.
Okay.
What changes do I need to make to my roofing to support a solar installation? What if I needed to change my shingles? Can solar... I actually thought about this one last night. If I had asphalt shingles on my roof and they were a year away from being replaced, and you installed a solar panel on my roof, how expensive would it be for me to go in and replace my roof? So this resonates well with in a rural area setting where there's a farmer who has a very large building and it cost him a great deal of money to put that roof on his building, and if the building is not assessed properly at that process, that could be a costly mistake for them. So this kind of almost belongs in A, in the sense that it is a pain point for people because they don't want to be caught off guard by an additional expense, surprise expense, when the installer shows up and says, oh boy, we're here to install your solar panel. You've got to rip down your whole roof.
Right.
It's too old.
Right.
We'll send you to another contractor to get that done, but until that's done, we're gonna, we can't come back and install your solar panel.
Right. Which question was that we were looking at?
We were talking about what if I need to change my shingles, or can a solar go on a metal roof? Like these kind of questions.
Okay.
These questions certainly are the resonators with people who are in the agricultural or rural areas that have large commercial entities.
Right.
Not so much for a new developer, because they already know that they have to build that into their building. And do I need a building permit for solar panels? This is an important question to ask. I recently, in Canada, I did a renovation on my house, and anything over $500 you have to have a building permit for. So this is part of the assessment process, right?
Okay.
Most of these questions could be addressed in a green energy assessment.
All right.
As part of the pre-consult that they should be giving in their business.
Would you put green energy assessment there?
In there?
Yeah. And then would you put secondary pains? Good. All right. Do the rest of these also fall in the same?
This is all part of the assessment. All of C is an assessment, can be all addressed in an assessment.
Good. How about that one?
If my power goes out, yes, and it's an assessment issue. That's something that they will ask in that assessment.
Good. All right. And fit and
Fit program can be also explained in the assessment.
It could.
Or at the contractual stage.
It could.
When they're signing a contract.
Depending on what you find out about how secure this is.
Yes.
If this is fairly secure, I would strongly recommend that it's actually a silo landing page. Fit in my.
And on their current site right now, it is not.
Right.
On their main site, there is a microfit.
Right.
A microfit category.
Okay.
But on their subsidiary site, it is not there.
Okay. Would you just put fit right there? Just fit rebates.
I think it's because the FIT program doesn't include geothermal.
Right.
All right.
So this is geo.
Again, assessment.
Yeah, but it's geo assessment.
Yeah, but it's
rather than-
geo-specific. Yeah, geothermal specific.
Do we have? This is green energy, but this wasn't. These were all solar, right?
Yes.
Solar assessments. Do you normally have a green energy assessment, or do you have specific solar assessments and geo assessments?
I think it's a general assessment that's
Okay.
done, and they help you to make the best decision based on the environment and that particular needs of that building.
All right. So now thinking about your website, do you want to break those assessment concepts down into two different silos?
I think it could almost be something like a green building assessment.
On your website.
Yeah, as one.
All right. So then we should stick. Go ahead and just put green. Whatever this was, we can just copy it.
Energy assessment.
All right. So then that gives us 3 silos so far. What about the blue ones?
This is more informational in nature. I don't think there's really a silo candidate here. Most of these statements are, with exception of a product silo for solar heaters or solar thermal heaters.
Okay.
The rest of it is more informational, right? Like
Okay.
number 10 there, or 21 in the column that we're looking at, the first one. In what instances would solar thermal be better than geothermal for heating my home? This is actually talking about a solar heater, like a water heater.
Right.
And it only makes up one part of your total energy solution.
Right.
So it could be addressed in the assessment, but it also could be its own product silo because people are looking for 3 different systems. They're looking for solar panels for energy.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for solar panels for heating their swimming pool and hot water. And they're looking for geothermal for cooling and heating as an overall system.
Right.
Right. Okay. So just green energy, set green energy.
And the drilling
secondary
component actually is a separate business altogether.
The drilling component.
Geothermal drill, which is the last H, which would be line 25. How much of my yard will be dug up for geothermal? Obviously, this is part of the initial assessment, but because they have a separate business website that
Mhm.
addresses the drilling issue, it's something that I have to discuss with them. They have an actual website called geoenergy-solutions.com, and this is the actual drilling site.
Oh.
So we can either address that need with the existing site that's already there and just clean it up, which
Okay.
I think is probably a more logical standpoint than trying to create a silo on the
Yeah.
site.
How
to
many
support.
sites do these guys have?
There's 3.
Just the
that
3
are,
that
that
you're
are
looking
3 that are focused clearly on.
And then that new one that popped up today.
Yes.
All right. Okay, then I'm just gonna leave that blank for a minute. Isn't that a duplicate?
No, because what we were talking about would be before we were talking about if the FIT program was canceled, not so much about people's fears.
Okay.
About this is
I thought that
talking.
was something
This
serious.
resonates with people that are about to go and install a completely off-grid system. They want to be reassured that if the
My
power
power
goes
goes
out,
out.
that something's going to back it up.
This one right here. If my power goes out, can I use the solar power?
It's specific to solar.
Oh, okay.
I think the other one is specific to something else.
Geo.
To geo.
Okay.
So what's coming out of that is geothermal as a silo to support that,
Okay.
and solar energy to support solar.
Right. And how about the next one?
I think we're done. I think it's 5. Oh, okay. How long are the pipes in the ground?
Guaranteed.
Okay, so those. Okay, they're. That would certainly be a section of the website, but I would assume that could be a category under geothermal maintenance.
Okay.
And then from what I understand, there are no government programs for geothermal. So
Right.
the third one would not apply to anything.
Right. And this one is, so are those two related or are they different?
They're different in the sense that the first one is about if my geothermal heat pump breaks down, what backup do I have? And then the second one is more about what guarantees I have that the system that's outside of my house won't break down.
Right.
Like
They're
what happens if
different
there's a
aspects
serious
of-
freeze and you haven't dug a deep enough hole and all my pipes freeze and break.
Yeah.
Right. They're
You know?
different. They're different aspects of guarantees.
Yes.
Being one to be reassured.
And again, I think that is all part of the assessment process. I think if those questions are answered up front in the assessment, that they have to be addressed in two places. There's a personal assessment that addresses it, and there's an assessment. Basically, on the site, they're going to give a bullet points of what's going to be covered in the assessment, but obviously their salesperson one-on-one will address all of these concerns that they have.
Is there actually any insurance the guys can buy? Is geothermal covered by household insurance?
Yes, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. If your gas furnace is covered by insurance, a geothermal furnace would certainly be covered.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just look over here at the should ask question. Oh, there's not one. It was just like, okay. Talk to me about these last 4.
I think it's also important on 29. I think we talked about this once already, didn't we? The typical payback period for geothermal. Didn't we address that already? Somewhere? I believe we did at the top, but it was in the wrong category, right?
Oh, that could be. Where was that one?
It was the blank one.
Oh,
at
you
the
know
top.
what? He resorted, and so it filtered down to the
There you
bottom.
go.
So this is the same one.
Yeah, so obviously, again, it's important for this to be on the site, that they have to understand that the typical payback period for geothermal is going to be much shorter than a solar panel.
Okay, that's good to know. So, is that silo level type information?
It would fall under the geothermal.
Well, I know it falls under a geothermal category, but
And then
How
the silo
important-
to itself?
how important is that idea?
Well, it's extremely important.
Is it? It seemed like there was another one where I had like this versus that.
That is also a contentious issue that they addressed too, about the question number 26 about, is the geothermal heat pump noisy?
Yeah,
One of the things they said, if it's properly installed, it's not.
that's what I figured.
And if it's poorly installed by a subgrade contractor, it is noisy.
Okay. So, typical payback period.
This is important because
This-
people are making a 25,000. It's a big investment. Right.
Yeah, would you put versus in there? Because it's kind of this versus that, the solar versus geo. And pay more for my hydro than. Because you're getting taxed too much would be the answer.
That question number 20 actually belongs to solar energy.
20?
Yes.
Where you see
It
20?
has nothing to do
Right
with
here.
geothermal.
Oh, right, you numbered it there.
So,
The government's not getting any payback for geothermal right now. Not to say that it couldn't happen.
so it's a secondary pain or advantage? You don't have the rest of that line filled out, so.
I think it is an advantage in the sense that it's conveying to people that they could financially benefit by having a solar system.
Right.
It's an advantage. It would be sold as a benefit to the client.
Yeah, because there's no tax on energy yet.
Yeah.
Alright. So,
So you get taxed on your income that you
What was
create.
the last one that you were there?
which one?
At the bottom, was there anything else?
Yeah.
What happens at the end of the 20-year contract?
That's the same thing. That's fit related, right?
It's fit related.
Now that I know what that is. Whoops.
That's a good pain to understand.
Yeah.
But you have to also understand that the average solar panel lasts about the same amount of time.
Right, that's
20
what
to
I
25
figured.
years.
So you gotta get a new system after 20 years and start the cycle again.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So the LTV is essentially 2 cycles at the most.
Geothermal is about the same time lag too. It lasts about the same period of time.
Do you have a contract with the geothermal as well for 20 years? You don't have that.
No, you don't, because it's a government contract.
Alright, so now I want to do this. I want to Oh, I really didn't want it to do that.
Once you hide them, just right click and hide.
Oh, I could do.
Yeah, can you use the hide? Is there a hide command in
There.
analysis?
Important safety tip. Come on.
I was also looking at their new site, and it looks like it's a static site. It's not on the CMS platform. From when I looked at the view source,
Alright.
like I ran WordPress through Find, and I didn't see it. I'm not running on WordPress with that one.
It's fine. If you start with the national page, it's easy to modify those things. I wouldn't be too hung up because if the structure, you can build site sites out of websites, out of a spreadsheet. You just got to put the right pages in the right place. It doesn't have to be a plugin. The plugin is just for speed. What?
The SAQs. Let's just go down those quickly and see if you still feel like everything falls in the same category.
Okay. Will I get better rebates if we do that? I would disqualify the will I get better rebates. I don't think that applies. Now that I understand fit a little better.
So just delete this?
Yes.
Can you hit the delete button? Thanks. And isn't that metering me? Produce more. Yeah, that hasn't really changed.
How will I make money if I invest in commercial? That's the answer to net metering.
Yeah.
That's a better SAQ to replace net metering. I'd actually strip out what does net metering mean and replace it with that.
Yeah, delete.
Oh, Travis is looking at it.
He's got it open. I don't know. He's actively looking at it. Alright, so then what's the to get energy from my roof down the line? That almost seems to me like it comes under the green energy. What's it called? Assessment. This one.
Yeah, it's the pre-contract. It's a pre-contract question.
Yeah, it's not really a secondary pain, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm choosing to see.
Yeah. Thank you. And this one doesn't have one.
That one comes back again. That's a fit program question. I would just completely take it out.
You take it out? This one?
Well, if it's being repeated somewhere.
Delete. It's not being repeated,
Okay.
but it belongs under fit. Health and the government.
Yes. Because it's a fit associated question.
It is a fit associated question. All right. Well, not quite so quick. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. I keep thinking you're touching it, but you're not touching it, are you?
No?
This is just this thing deciding to be really weird. All right.
There we go.
And let's see if I can make it sync on orange.
Okay.
All right. So we were in
Again,
the related advantages of geothermal pump versus solar. Oh, now that actually turns into a versus question.
Yeah, it's an advantages, disadvantages question. Well, oh, yeah, because the word versus. Okay.
Yeah, so what's the best renewable energy solution for my farm building? So the versus question, since we only had one of them, might actually be payback period. Love to pay back my electrical bill after I install my geo. Why is that? Oh, because it's geothermal is faster than solar panel. That's why you said it was a versus.
Mm-hmm.
But this, will I have to pay my electric bill after I install my geothermal installation?
It's a naive question.
Yes, thank you.
It's a question of saying, it's more about, the right question to be asking there is, will my electrical bill be offset by installing this device, this geothermal?
But that's the same as the FAQ, right?
Yes.
Is there a better
way of saying it?
A better question? Is there a should ask question to that FAQ? It's okay if there's not.
I don't think there is.
Okay.
Maybe just scratch it out.
Yeah, just blank out the SAQ. So then, typical payback period. Typical payback period. Does that fit under anything else, or is it just geo?
There was geo and solar for the same question.
This one? Is geo and thermal?
There should be a solar version of it somewhere.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we'll just put in solar panel. Solar panel system. Yeah, solar panel installation, that's fine.
Okay. So then the solar panel, where does that go?
In the solar panel side? Or the solar energy side?
Is it a pain or an advantage or?
I think it's an advantage, right? To understand that their bills are going to be going down. But it's in the middle because it's playing off a pain point of an existing expense. If they consider, well, I consider it a pain point to me. Why should I be paying high heating and oil?
How can we rephrase this so that it's a pain?
It's a pain because right now, because they realize that it's going to be a long-term commitment to see the payback.
Okay.
It's going to take 4 to 6 years before they see a payback for this.
6 years before they paid off the initial cost.
Yes.
Based on what? The FIT program paying them back?
No, because on the solar panel side, yes.
Or is it just
Because it'll be faster, because it'll only be faster if they're producing more energy than they're consuming.
Right, so it's the savings on their bills, that's where they make it over 6 years they would have paid that investment back.
Yes.
Okay. That's fairly quick though if you think of it, eh?
Yeah.
Because that means you've got about 15 years of profit.
Right.
Now, obviously, I'd have to validate that actual period.
No, I'm really,
Yeah, sure.
I'm really,
Yeah,
really
sure.
interested in this whole process, eh?
Yeah.
So if your typical payback period is 4 to 6 years, then your pain is not seeing any return on that investment for 6 years.
The pain is the extra $100 I have to pay on my mortgage to offset that. That's the pain, if you really want to get to it.
Okay.
Ask yourself, if
But
I
that's-
increased your depending if you're on a more fixed income,
Right.
if I came to you and said I'm going to increase your mortgage by an extra $100 per month, are you okay with that?
Right, but my electric bill was $160, right?
Right.
So, all right.
So and that goes back to the issue that
Okay,
you
so
were saying
then
earlier.
the SEQ is
saving $93.66.
But are you really saving though in the first 5 years?
I don't think you are.
You may be
And
paying
that's a
in.
pain point.
You may be paying in.
You're
'Cause
going
if
to be
it-
paying.
If you got your mortgage and you're paying $100 off to pay it off, the installation,
yeah.
the offset on your,
That could be over 15 years.
that's over 15 years, the savings you're making per month on your electric bill is how much?
160.
It's 65% of your current bill.
So it's 160. So it's 160. 160 divided by 0.65. So it's 104. So that breaks even. But you're paying for the thing over 15 years.
And you're only seeing the benefit if you're pushing energy out.
Wait a minute. All right, I'm gonna go spend $20,000 and get solar panels on my roof, and that's gonna be applied to a mortgage or a second mortgage on my house, and I'm gonna pay $100 a year. And a minute ago, $100 a month, and last month I was paying $160 for my electricity, right? And I don't have to pay that anymore, right?
You're paying 65% less of that bill now that you have the solar panel on your roof.
Why am I only paying 65% of it? Am I still drawing electricity?
You're obviously drawing electricity if the solar panel can offset it.
So the installation depends on your consumption.
It's consumption based.
Right.
How you're so basically it's conservative based. So if you're conserving energy in your house and you've self-taught yourself to improve that, but if you're completely wasteful with energy, you may have to still stay on the grid in order to support
Sure,
that.
sure.
Because your solar panel isn't quite generating enough energy.
So-
A good example of that is I just bought an electric car, right? And it needs a lot of energy to charge it every day when I bring it home.
Right.
My solar panel is heating my swimming pool and is taking care of most of my energy needs in my house. But I just bought an electric car and now I have to get back. I still have to stay on the grid because I'm over my limit.
Okay, if you didn't have the electric car, would the solar panel be able to cover the average household?
The 10 kilowatt ones are designed to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so most of the time, your average household, your solar panels are going to take care of the entire electric bill.
Yes.
So it's not like it's just 65% of my electric bill. It's 100% of my electric bill.
Yeah.
Normally.
That makes sense. Yes.
So I'm saving $160 in electric bills,
And it's costing you $100 per
It's-
month to have that.
costing me $100.
So you're paying off $60 a month on your investment.
Yeah.
And if you're actually starting to put money back into the grid, you're going to be receiving a dividend check each month from
Sure.
the government being under the program.
Sure.
But if you're not,
Let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say I don't
That's
make
a
enough.
pain
Like, well, no.
that could,
Why is it a pain point? I'm still $65 better off than I was before.
yes, yes,
So if I'm on a fixed income, I'm $65 further down the road toward my vacation than I was
Yes.
before. Okay.
okay.
All right. So then the paying is the apparent upfront expense.
The
How do
upfront
I,
expense.
how,
How do I offset the upfront cost of the
Yeah.
solar system?
yeah. Yeah, that's the better question. Would you type that in? How do I offset the upfront cost?
How do I offset the upfront cost of a solar panel system installation?
All right. Now we're back to it being a pain. I'm gonna wanna go through all of these and make sure that they're actually pains so that we can. Now, secondary pain or primary pain?
Which one?
This one that we just did.
Primary pain.
All right, good.
That's an important question then.
Make it a primary pain. All right, now let's just take a quick look at this one. What's the annual return and how long is the payback? Isn't that what we just did?
Yeah, we just did. We just addressed it. The differentiator there is the commercial intent versus residential. So let's just say we did it for residential. Can we quantify that question as primary pain and make it specific to residential
Sure.
so that we can separate out the commercial intent from the residential intent?
Commercial in there?
Yeah, commercial. On my commercial.
Right, just type commercial right there,
Commercial.
space commercial. No, you moved it.
Right between my and solar.
My commercial.
My commercial solar.
Commercial. And then put residential on the one below,
Sure.
or home. Make it more personal. In the SAQ. Yeah.
What's the upfront cost of?
Home solar installation. Yeah, perfect.
Good. All right.
There, now you've separated it
Now,
out.
is this also a
It's a primary pain.
primary pain? Good. And
This we've just quantified back into those 1 and 2 questions.
Should we not clean it up there? To be a commercial.
what the heck is?
Sort that up there.
Why did that get put up there? Hydro payback owners, if they produce more electricity. Oh, it's the same SEQ. I understand.
So can you do the same thing there and segment it out into commercial and residential?
Well, isn't that the same question?
No. It's not the same question.
What you want taken out here? Running your funds man. Is it residential or commercial?
He wants it duplicated so that one can be residential and one can be commercial.
Of the entire row?
Yeah. No, you're gonna have to insert it first.
And I would just take out the word net metering and just have it say, how can I put more money in my pocket? So, do you understand where I'm going with that? the upfront cost of the actual installation versus the payback period.
Which column are you looking at?
Where you guys are now that question has more to do with the overall payback period rather than how long is the payback period going to be to offset my upfront cost.
What column are you looking at? 4D?
This is more about the question about how will I make my money back after I've reached my break-even point? Or how am I saying this? I have to say this.
Your break-even point is 20 years, right? Your mortgage is probably 20 years. It's 20-year mortgage to pay back your $20,000 installation cost, right?
Most mortgages in Canada are 25 years.
Okay.
I have a 30-year mortgage. How will I make money back? Oh man. I would just blow them out then. You've already addressed them at the first primary pains. Those two
Okay.
primary pains. Strip them out.
All right.
I don't know what's going on.
So get rid of 4 and 5. They were just working on because they're basically the same question.
It's a redundant question.
Those 2 rows.
Yeah.
Delete them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to overthink it. And it's just redundant.
Yeah. All right.
This
So,
is blank one. Yeah. What's this?
well, it's a different category from what we've been before. Let's make it a B.
Get lost. I want to bundle. Yeah.
Alright. Alright. What's our pain here? Can we turn
The
that in?
pain point is can I finance it?
Will I get finance?
Will I get finance? Yeah.
Considering the credit crunch,
Yeah.
or considering banks not lending,
Yeah.
or my credit rating.
I like that. Will I get finance?
If I got bad credit,
Do they offer financing?
Yes, they do.
is it clear offer financing? So you pay clear back, right?
What? Alright.
Midas touch.
Primary pain.
And you?
Why would your hydro bill go up?
Because it's running a pump.
It's adding a pump to it.
But I thought the system's designed to factor all this in. Plus your
It actually costs you $60 to operate your pump, basically, if it's on electricity. But if it's a hybrid situation and you've installed a solar panel on your roof, then it's costing you zilch.
right, so you can sell it to drive the pump.
The should ask question is going to be what's my net effect of installing, what's my net financial effect of installing a geothermal?
Yes.
Right? Don't ask me whether or not my hydro bill goes up. Am I going to save money?
Yes.
And you'll see a threefold decrease in your electric bill. How are you going to see a threefold decrease? Oh, because of the isn't it your oil bill that's going to see a threefold decrease?
It's your oil bill that you'll see a threefold decrease.
Change electric.
If it was a
here.
versus. It's a versus question. Is it a versus question?
Only if you're going to bring into it the idea of solar panels with. I'd offer that as an alternate solution. In this,
Proposition.
so like you've got this page that's going to be about
Because the fact is if you were relying on electricity only, your bill would go up. because now you've added a $60 cost per month to your
Correct.
electricity bill because you have to run that pump, right?
But whatever, if you, in that case, you had electric heat before, in
Mhm.
which case your bill's gonna go down $300.
No, if you had an oil furnace and you were relying on oil and you made the switch to geothermal, then your bill would go down.
Your oil bill would go
But
down.
if you were running electricity as your primary heat and you switch it over, your electricity bill would go down threefold also because you're only having to power the pump.
Right.
And that's only costing you. If I find out that my electricity bill is only costing me $60 a month to run the pump versus everything else in my house, because geothermal isn't keeping the lights on in your house.
Right.
It's just heating and cooling your
I
house.
understand.
So it is an added cost, but it's less of a cost
Then the heat would have been.
than the oil furnace.
So,
Yeah.
you're looking at your bottom line. The should-ask question should be,
The net effect.
what's my bottom line?
Yeah.
So, let's just change this whole thing to, what's my bottom net difference in expenses? Yeah.
Think of the double T.
Ah,
Okay.
All right.
Now you're on target. Travis is ringing again.
It's the same one. He's just on that cell, so every time we hit it, his name pops up. It's the bottom net difference. It's still not formulated. That's still formulated as a question and not really as a pain. My pain is my fear of lack. Oh, that's why the question was in there worded the other way. Oh, I see. Increase. Let's just do this. Hit the delete, please. All right. So now that's actually the paying part. Is that a primary pain or a secondary pain?
I consider it a secondary pain.
Yeah, me too. All right, so now, question. These primary pains, do you offer financing? How will I make money? How do I offset the upfront cost? Commercial solar, how do I offset the upfront cost? Those all three silos? Two silos?
Okay, I understand where you're going. Yes, if they're silo pains, yes. 3.
All right. So this is going to be like green energy financing.
Yep.
Hey, crack open Kraken. Coming down here into our Canadian drills.
hello.
And let's add green energy financing.
Just want to break the bottom.
Green energy financing.
Ah, you non-win.
You have to go all the way back to the beginning.
right?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just see if I want any of these. Hang on. Clean Power Finance. Give me Clean Power Finance and check that one. Financial group, Green Financial Group, Green Financial, Renewable Power, Renewable Energy Fund, Renewable Energy Fund,
Let's keep that one.
Fund. Yeah, let's keep that one. Delete the rest.
You sure?
Yeah,
Once it's gone, it's gone.
gone. Continue. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes.
Come on, yeah.